Hi guys, so today's video is kind of what a typical week looks like for a vet tech while at work. I have pretty much steered away from including things that don't happen at work, such as like my morning routine, what I eat for breakfast, things that happen after work. I have not included that for two reasons. One, because it just made the video way too long. And two, because if you have clicked on this video, it's probably because you have an interest in veterinary medicine or becoming a vet tech, and you want to see what an actual work day looks like rather than just things that I do on a typical daily basis. So most of the stuff in this video is actually things that have happened at work. However, if you do want to see, or if you do want to know a little bit more about just what the whole day in itself looks like, I will be including in the description things like when I wake up, when I leave for work, typically when my work day ends. And then also I plan on uploading some more detailed videos of like each day through the week, what a typical day looks like for me. That way it can be a little bit longer and more descriptive and give you a better idea. I have also included my 2 days off, which are Wednesday and Saturday, just so you get a little bit of an idea of like what we do, what I do at least, when I don't have work. With all that being said, I want to go ahead and preface this. Viewer discretion is advised because I have not put a ton of gory stuff. I have put some stuff because it's something that happens in the workday, and I wanted this to be a fairly realistic video. So if gore and blood is not something you can handle, I would suggest maybe not watching this video. But again, I wanted it to be a very realistic video because I want to show what an actual day for a tech looks like, and blood and gore are things you will have to deal with. I think though, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so this is Sunday. I get to work at 8 a.m. and this particular dog that you're seeing right here, his name is Dexter, and he has a slipped disc, and it has essentially paralyzed him from the shoulders down. He's extremely painful, so I'm moving him very slowly and carefully and rotating his sides. So the side that he was on, I'm flipping him over to the opposite side. I do this once a day. That way he's not laying on the same side constantly. If he were to remain on the same side, it would likely cause bed sores, and that's not something we want. So we make sure to rotate him at least once a day. Once I get him moved, I will just take a warm, wet washcloth and go through and rinse him off, because he has usually pooped or peed on himself during the night since he can't move. Okay, now it's time to feed, water, and medicate Dexter. Luckily, he's pretty good about... Delmar, go. Delmar is our clinic cat. He's pretty good about taking his medicine and pill pocket treats. Good boy. Delmar thinks he needs to be up in Dexter's business. Okay, last one. Good boy. Now I'm gonna give him some water to help wash that all down. Okay, do you want food though? Of course he does. Right, it's time to move him back up into his cage. So while he was down on the floor, I already rotated his side. So I just basically pick him up in the blanket. Since he's really painful, you have to hold him very stiff. So I pick him up in the blanket and just set him up here. And then you'll see it, but I kind of build like a wall around him so that he can't move very much. Okay. So there's Dexter, my bud. And this is his setup. And he has a little ducky because he gets lonely. On Sundays, I come in and I take care of the sick and like the injured animals, like Dexter. And then I also take care of boarders if we have any. Brownie is our only boarder for this weekend. So with the boarders, I just walk them, feed them, give them water, and then medicate them if they need any medicine. But Brownie doesn't need any medicine. And then I also clean their runs and cages if they need to be cleaned. So that's about all I do with the boarders. So this is Joy and Delmar. These are our clinic cats. During the day, they get to just run around. But then at night, we put them in their cages so that they can't go around and knock stuff over or break things or anything like that. But on Sundays, I basically treat them like boarders come in, feed them, give them water, and I let them out of their cage for the day because, like I said, they'll be locked up at night. And that's it. They're pretty good to just roam around and do what they want. But yeah, sometimes they're little devils and break things, like our computers. Delmar, he has broken about 3 computers, knocking them off of the counter. So that's why they now have to be monitored and locked up at night. They can't just go around breaking things. So one of the less fun parts of the job is paperwork and documenting things. I have to document all of the medications that I gave Dexter, and that's what I'm doing in this clip. So on Sundays, we are not officially open, which gives me a chance to do some cleaning and prep work for Monday when we are open. But we do see emergencies, and on this particular morning, we had a dog that came in with bloody diarrhea. So after setting up a fecal sample and determining that there were no parasites on the sample, we sent the dog home with some metronidazole and propectolin for a digestive upset. Here I'm just walking Brownie, and after taking care of all of the animals at the clinic, that ends my Sunday work day. Okay, so this is one of the first appointments of the day on Monday. It was a puppy, and so I get the fecal loop ready. I'm applying lube in this clip, and then I will call the patient into the room, get a fecal sample, double check the age of the puppy, and then get the appropriate vaccines ready. This is another vaccine appointment. It's for 2 adult dogs though, so here I'm just checking their vaccine history to make sure that we give the correct vaccines. Is Sugar, and her owner was concerned that she was shaking her head more than often, so I'm taking an ear swab from both sides, and this will allow us to determine if she has anything like bacteria, yeast, or ear mites in her ears. Once I get the swab, I leave the right swab straight, and then I bend the left swab into an L so I know right from left. A frosted microscope slide, and I write an R and an L on it, and then I apply the right side swab to the R area and the left side swab to the L area, making sure to roll the swabs, not rub them. I then take either a lighter or a match, and I heat flash the sample to the microscope slide, making sure not to get it too hot. Then I take a paper towel and rub the soot from the back, and I begin the staining process. So this is the beginning of my Tuesday work day, and it started by setting up a fecal sample that had been dropped off and then looking at it under the microscope to determine if there were any parasite eggs on it, which there were not. After our morning appointments, we then began surgery around 10 o'clock, and this was a tumor from a dog that the doctor removed. After we finish our surgeries, I then go to lunch, and on this day, I decided to stay at the clinic and eat lunch and play with Joy. So after I clock back in from lunch, I go to the kennel to check on everybody and make sure that the surgeries are recovering properly, and of course, I had to stop and play with the puppy. This is a toenail from a cat that had been brought in because it was having difficulty walking. The client then informed us that the cat had previously been declawed at a different clinic, and it was discovered that the digit had not been completely removed, which allowed the toenail to continue to keep growing, even though the opening where a toenail would usually protrude had been closed up, and this was causing the toenail to grow into the skin, covering it and making it painful and difficult for the cat to walk. So this is a typical Wednesday for me. It's my day off from work, so I'm just doing some studying and interview prep for my upcoming vet school interviews. So this is from Thursday morning. There was a urine sample that had been dropped off, so I'm just running a urinalysis, and here I'm applying urine to a dipstick. This will tell us things like if there is blood or glucose in the urine. I will then apply urine to the spectrometer, and this will tell me the specific gravity of the urine and help us understand how well the kidneys are filtering urine. There, I'm looking through the spectrometer. I then get the urine sample and I spin it down. This way we can look at the urine sample and see if there's any sediment like crystals in the urine sample. In this video, I'm just adding water to another vial. That way the urine and water are equal, and this will help stabilize the centrifuge. This is me applying the sample to the centrifuge so that it will be spun down to look at under the microscope. This is one of the patients that we performed surgery on, and she is waking up from surgery. So here I'm going to deflate the trach tube. The trach tube will ensure that the airway remains open and allows air to get to the patient even when they're sedated. So the trach tube has a little bubble at the end, which will keep the trach tube in place. But here I am removing the air from the bubble and deflating the trach tube so that it can be pulled. You only want to pull the trach tube when the patient is completely awake. That way you know they're taking in oxygen, not having difficulty breathing, and that they can breathe on their own before you remove the trach tube. Also, I know at some points it looks like I'm being kind of rough when I'm waking her up, but some animals are a little bit more sensitive to sedation and have a harder time waking up. So our ultimate goal is to ensure that they do wake up, and sometimes being rougher with them is what it takes to make sure that they wake up and come out of the sedation fully and quickly. And there, that was me pulling her trach tube. Okay, so I had already run this heartworm test actually, and then I realized, oh shoot, this is something we do all the time at the clinic, and maybe I should show you. So if things look off, that's why I had already run the test. I'm sorry. But you start by adding 3 drops of the blood, and then you add 4 drops of the blue conjugate, and then you will close that little vial and mix the sample up. So after mixing it, you'll then add it to the SNAP heartworm test. It already has blood in it and it's already been snapped. I know, like I said, I already ran this test. I kind of just wanted to show you what it looks like and how you run one. So after that, you insert the SNAP test into the SNAP machine and it does the rest of the work for you. And 1 blue dot, as shown in this picture, is ideal. It means you have a heartworm negative dog, but multiple blue dots would mean you have a heartworm positive dog. These next 2 images are from a dog that got its tail caught and shut in a car door. As you can see, it actually took the tip of the tail off. So the doctor just quickly sedated the dog and sewed up that little bit of the tail. So this is from Friday, the day before Christmas Eve. So everybody wore their Christmas sweater to work. And in this clip, I'm just lasering a dog with arthritis. This is a skin biopsy from the mouth of a dog that constantly had reoccurring mouth ulcers. So we biopsied it to send it off for testing. This is me playing with a puppy on my lunch break. She was a stray that got brought in, and I felt so bad that I actually ended up fostering her over Christmas, but she now has a home, and I'm so thankful because she was such a good girl and she definitely deserved a home. But I just would go in and play with her on my lunch break and give her all the attention that she deserved. This is from Saturday, and here I'm just doing some dishes, and then I'm cleaning up a little bit, and now I'm doing some laundry. So I spend most of my Saturdays just cleaning and getting to stuff that I wasn't able to get to throughout the work week. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found that video at least somewhat informative. And if you have any questions, be sure to comment them and I will respond. Also, make sure to subscribe for future videos that are veterinary medicine related and hopefully, assuming I get in, vet school related. Thank you again so much for watching. Bye guys.